and they called it the Hotel Chris Swanson.
Two Harbors, Minnesota, and nearby Silver Bay, Minnesota, seem to be the kind of place where a small group of people, mostly men, white men, middle-aged white men, if they're crafty enough and they work hard enough, they can kind of seize power and control the flow of information and control the truth. In that situation, then a lot of people rely on rumors and innuendos and gossip and that kind of talk in order to transmit the truth. It's real because they can't get it from, you know, the institutions, the city council or the city government or the mayor or the school board. The main rumors around for years around especially Two Harbors was that then Mayor Swanson, Chris Swanson, when he was a teenager, had sexually assaulted not one but several girls who were in the range of 5, 6, 7, 8 years old in his neighborhood when he was 15. A couple of weeks ago, Minneapolis Star-Tribune actually reported that Swanson had admitted to this part of the rumor, but wouldn't apologize, wouldn't give any further details. This is the second part of the rumor, that he actually returned. He had lived in Silver Bay, but then he returned to nearby Two Harbors, which is in the same school district. That he had actually gotten hired by the Lake Superior School District and the high school in particular as a soccer coach. It seemed hard to believe that they would hire someone even if he had sealed records as a juvenile. The rumors further went on to say that he was summarily dismissed, and that because he was known as a somewhat difficult guy, they had actually fired him by firing the entire soccer staff and then rehired everybody except for him. Now again, this is rumor. I don't know if this is true or not. He became so enraged at a school board meeting that he actually got into a physical altercation in the hall with then superintendent. He actually called the police and tried to get the superintendent arrested for assault, even though it was shown by school surveillance video that he was the aggressor, and the county prosecutor refused to press charges. I wrote a letter to Superintendent Belcastro. So Mr. Belcastro writes, the school district does not have and is unaware of any extension program it ever offered in soccer and computer instructions, and therefore cannot locate any data responsive to your request. It's weird because here in 2013, here is a copy of the Good News newsletter for Twitter basic course, Thursday 6 o'clock to 7:30, EHHS, Two Harbors High School Computer Lab, 1109 Media Center, taught by Pure Driven. That's Swanson. Words with Friends, 11/23/21/13, Pure Driven. YouTube, Pure Driven, Thursday 6 to 7:30. Twitter basic course, type at William Kelly Computer Room 101, blogging by Pure Driven. Another Words with Friends, YouTube, and Pinterest. Swanson's company, Pure Driven. 2015 newsletter, computer training, Driven. Google Basics, iPhone, iPads, tips and tricks, another class by Pure Driven. Google Basics, again, taught by Pure Driven, 11/4/2015 at the Two Harbors High School. And 2016, Facebook, taught by Pure Driven. iPhone, iPads, tips and tricks. And I specifically said Pure Driven in there, and he specifically said no, there hasn't been. In addition, there's an adult soccer, introduction to soccer, soccer basics for 2015, taught by the man himself, Chris Swanson. Meeting minutes. The regular meeting of the school board of Lake Superior Independent School District number 381 was held Thursday, February 14th, 2013, 6:00 p.m. to approve recommendation to hire Chris Swanson, volunteer NASA and Agate Robotics. Carried unanimously. Now, maybe there's another Chris Swanson, maybe that means something else, I don't know, but it is kind of strange that Belcastro's diligent search of his records wouldn't come up with approved recommendation to hire Chris Swanson. Maybe there's a good reason, but one would think he would have addressed it. Superintendent Belcastro of Lake Superior School District stated, "The school district made a diligent search of its records and was not able to locate any evidence that Mr. Swanson was ever employed by the school district in any capacity." And yet here is the picture from the Two Harbors High School Nor'easter yearbook in 2001. And that coach there, he looks remarkably like a young Coach Chris Swanson. And in fact, it says, second row, Coach Chris Swanson. He would have been around 26 years old at that time, probably less than 10 years from when he was arrested for sexual abuse in that same area. Here is the 2002 Nor'easter yearbook from Two Harbors High School. And lo and behold, here on a page called Girls and Boys Soccer, Coach Chris Swanson. And yet, Superintendent Belcastro stated that they made a diligent search of their records and could find no evidence that he was ever employed. So the other question that I had for Mr. Belcastro was in regards to the nonprofit association that he was partnered with Chris Swanson and Janelle Jones as co-founders on, called the National Civility Association. And I had referred to the National Civility Association website after Chris Swanson had been dethroned and recalled as mayor, and it told a story about how students from the high school had come to Belcastro, who was principal at that time, and they wanted to put on a civility summit about, you know, being nice to each other. And they had this motivational speaker came in, and their mayor, Chris Swanson, proclaimed the day National Civility Day, and they knew they were onto something big. This is the story that was on the website. And then at some point, Belcastro must have brought this to the mayor, and they decided, let's make a nonprofit association out of this, and we can raise money. As the three co-founders, as Belcastro, he's co-founder and integral part of the National Civility Association. He is currently a high school principal and interim superintendent for Lake Superior Schools in Two Harbors, Minnesota. He encouraged and rallied around the Two Harbors DECA students to help create and promote the very first Civility Summit. And then Janelle Jones is a co-founder and executive director of the National Civility Association. And Christopher Swanson. Chris is a co-founder of the National Civility Association. He is a CEO and successful businessman and extremely proud to be the mayor of Two Harbors, Minnesota, where the Civility Summits began. And Chris gave the introduction to the Civility Summit. So I asked Belcastro, who obviously is pretty tight with Christopher Swanson, how that came to be that he was invited to be a co-founder that was involved in the schools, and whether he knew anything about his past history of sexual violence against minors. And his response was no response. Well, actually, his response would possibly have that website taken down.
What a wreck was this mayor, Chris Swanson.